So at what point did you start recording Talking Book? And I'm curious of any memories of those sessions, you going in recording the vocals.
Well, I tell you, we were recording all the time.
Okay.
We really had no idea what would end up on Stevie's project because we were constantly recording. I mean, we'd be in the studio. He would be in the studio 24/7 when we weren't traveling. And so would we. We'd come in and he'd play an idea and we say, "Oh yeah, okay, we like that." And we'd record it. So there was X amount of songs that came out on those projects, but we probably recorded triple or quadruple the amount of music that actually ended up on the project. I mean,
Wow.
the creativity is off the chain with him.
Yeah, and he played most of the instruments himself on these records, is right?
He did. Yep, he
And
did.
in terms of, because he's a visionary and on all fronts, and those albums are, I can't
Yes.
speak highly enough of them. And so when you're doing these vocals, does he have a vision of where he wants it to be, or are you and the other vocalists coming up with your own vision of it?
It was both. And a lot of times he knew what he wanted us to sing and he would tell us. And then while he'd be playing or something, we'd hum something, join in and start humming or throw out an idea. So it was very open. It was him telling us and giving us direction, but also us creating, what we thought we should be saying and how it should be said and when it should be said. Yeah, it was very open.
You've mentioned in interviews that Stevie, like you learned a lot from Stevie, but I didn't really hear specifically what those things are that you did learn. What are those lessons, 40 years on, 50 years on, that still are imparted with you from that time working with this genius at a seminal moment in history?
Well, like I said, the thing about Stevie is that he, just music just oozed out of him. And I think us our being around Stevie, it oozed out of us. I mean, there was so much of a genius and musicality in that environment until it drew us in and drew things out of us, things that I wouldn't have thought of singing or things that I hadn't heard before I started to hear just because of what he was sending out would make me and Lonnie and Shirley and the other singers do certain things and the musicians as well. You
Yeah,
know, I was in a band. It was the Brecker Brothers were there when I first got there. You
yes,
know,
hot band.
a
Oh
hot.
yeah,
I mean,
I've seen the footage, and it's like, damn, that was
yeah,
on fire. And you collaborated a lot with the band members. Your
yes,
first song, "Slip Away," and "Free" were
uh-huh,
all written.
yes.
Tell me how that came about, where you started writing with the band, the Wonderlove band.
Well, I tell you, we'd be up there and we'd be waiting for Stevie to come, and we'd be there. And you just start fiddling and playing stuff and just having your own jam sessions. And that's how we started writing and doing things together because we did have the time. We'd be there for maybe an hour or so before he would arrive. And I think, in retrospect, he was probably giving us that time to gel and do things and write. He was giving us the space to do our own creative things. And so that's how those songs came about. The Nathan Watts would be playing a lick on the bass and I'd jump in, or Susse would jump in, and we started being creative and writing. That's how that whole thing together. But I mean, and you're around the Brecker Brothers. When I got there, David Sanborn was his saxophone player. Just so many incredible musicians, and you'd have to be half dead not to pick up something or to start creating. And if you were around all these people and you weren't creating, you need to go to nursing school. You were in the wrong place. You
Yeah.
should have been there with us.